the quiet change most people miss. Have you ever noticed how adopted cats sometimes change in ways that are almost impossible to explain? Not suddenly, not dramatically, but quietly. One week they sleep near the edge of the room. Then one day they fall asleep in the center of the house like they have always lived there. At first they watch every movement carefully, every sound, every footstep. But later something shifts. They stop monitoring everything around them. And what makes this emotional is that many rescue cats do not arrive in a new home believing they are safe at all. Why rescue cats struggle to feel safe? Because for many adopted cats, life before adoption taught them something painful. Nothing stays forever. Food can disappear. Shelter can disappear. Humans can disappear too. So when they first enter a new home, they are often not thinking about affection the way humans imagine. They are thinking about survival, about predictability, about whether this place is temporary too. And that is something many people misunderstand about rescue cats. People often expect gratitude immediately, trust immediately, love immediately, but emotionally, many adopted cats are still carrying the memory of instability long after they leave it behind physically. The first signs of emotional healing. That is why some cats spend days hiding under furniture, why some hesitate before eating, why some remain alert even while resting. Their body may be inside a safe home, but their nervous system is still preparing for uncertainty. And strangely, one of the biggest signs that an adopted cat is beginning to heal is not affection first. It is relaxation, because vulnerable animals do not relax carelessly. Relaxation is trust made visible. That is why small moments matter so much. The first time a rescue cat stretches fully beside you. The first time they close their eyes while you walk nearby. The first time they stop flinching at ordinary household sounds. Humans often overlook these moments because they seem tiny, but psychologically they are enormous. Because every relaxed movement is the body quietly saying, maybe I no longer need to stay prepared all the time. Why trust takes longer than people expect. And for some rescue cats, that realization takes weeks. For others, months. Sometimes even longer. Especially for cats who experienced abandonment, overcrowded shelters, neglect, or unpredictable environments before adoption. You can often see this emotional conflict in their behavior. Part of them wants closeness. Part of them expects disappointment. So they approach slowly, carefully. They may walk toward you, then suddenly stop halfway. They may sit near you, but leave if you move too quickly. They may accept affection briefly, while keeping their muscles tense the entire time. Because emotionally, they are still studying the environment, still collecting evidence. And what they are searching for is not perfection. It is consistency. The patterns that make cats feel safe. The same voice every day. The same feeding routine. The same gentle presence. The same emotional safety repeated over and over again. Because rescue cats trust patterns more than promises. And somewhere during those repeated ordinary moments, something begins changing internally. Not loudly, quietly. Sometimes the first sign is incredibly subtle. A cat who used to sleep facing the door suddenly sleeps with its back turned toward it. A cat who hid under the bed now watches you from the couch instead. A cat who avoided physical contact suddenly rests one paw against your leg for a few seconds longer than usual. Tiny behaviors, but emotionally, these moments are massive. Because animals only expose vulnerability when they begin believing danger is less likely. The moment they stop preparing to leave. And perhaps one of the most emotional moments of all is when adopted cats stop acting like guests. At first, many rescue cats move through a house cautiously, like visitors who expect to leave. They stay near walls, near exits, near places where escape feels possible. And humans often mistake this for personality. But sometimes it is emotional self-protection. Because animals who have experienced instability often feel safest when they know they can leave quickly if necessary. Then one day, something changes. The cat sleeps in the middle of the room, far from the door, far from hiding spots, completely exposed. And emotionally, that moment means more than many people realize. Because for the first time, the cat is no longer organizing its life around escape. It is organizing its life around staying. When a rescue cat finally feels at home, and maybe that is the real moment an adopted cat decides it belongs. Not when it first enters the house, not during the first photo, not during the first meal, but during the moment its nervous system finally stops preparing to lose everything again. And strangely, many adopted cat owners describe almost identical experiences. A shy cat suddenly sleeping beside them overnight. A distant cat unexpectedly following them from room to room. A formerly anxious cat slow blinking before falling asleep nearby. And what makes these stories so powerful is that they often happen unexpectedly. No dramatic event caused them. No special training. Usually, the environment simply remained safe long enough. Why consistency changes everything. The food kept arriving. The voices stayed calm. The routines stayed predictable. Nothing frightening happened. And slowly, the cat's body began understanding something its mind could not trust immediately. This home continues existing. That sounds simple to humans. But emotionally, consistency can feel life-changing to an animal who once lived with uncertainty. Because many rescue cats are not afraid of affection itself. They are afraid of losing it after accepting it. And that fear changes behavior in ways humans do not always notice. Some cats become emotionally cautious. Others remain hyper-alert. Some avoid attachment completely at first because attachment once led to pain. But over time, stable environments slowly begin softening those survival instincts. The personality hidden behind fear. And once that happens, personalities often emerge almost all at once. The quiet cat becomes playful. The distant cat becomes affectionate. The nervous cat becomes curious. Can feel almost unbelievable, like suddenly meeting a completely different animal. But the original personality was always there. Fear was simply occupying too much emotional space for it to appear fully. And perhaps this is why adopted cats can feel emotionally unforgettable. Because you are not just watching a pet become comfortable. You are watching a living creature slowly release survival mode. You are watching fear lose control over the body little by little. The small moments that mean the most. And maybe that is why the quietest moments often become the most emotional memories. The first time they greet you at the door. The first time they sleep deeply beside you. The first time they expose their stomach without immediately becoming defensive. The first time they stop scanning the room while resting. Moments most people would consider ordinary, but for a rescue cat, they can represent something enormous internally. Because belonging is not only physical safety. Belonging is emotional certainty. It is the moment an animal finally believes tomorrow will still be safe too. Why some cats forget how to relax. And perhaps one of the saddest realities is that many rescue cats once lived so long in uncertainty that calmness itself feels unfamiliar at first. Some cats do not even know how to fully relax immediately after adoption. You can see it in the way they sleep lightly, the way their ears react to every sound, the way they remain ready to move at any moment. Their body learned vigilance before it learned peace. Which is why healing often looks strangely invisible from the outside. Because many of the biggest emotional changes happen internally long before obvious affection appears externally. The true meaning of belonging. And maybe that is the real miracle of adoption. Not simply giving an animal shelter, but helping a living creature finally experience what emotional safety feels like after expecting instability for so long. Because for many adopted cats, home is not just a place. Home is the moment the body finally understands it no longer needs to prepare for loss. And once that understanding arrives, you can often see it instantly, not through words, but through the way they finally rest beside you without fear. As though somewhere deep inside themselves, they have quietly decided, I can stay here now,